authentication, application, and stuff. Even when you do some of the network attacks, even though your syllabus never talks about it, syllabus never talks about any sort of network attacks over it. When it talks about threats, social impacts, security policies, impact on product, estimating risk, and all kind of stuff like that. So there's no types of exploits over here, so we'll be dealing with the policies, impact on productivity, and all that stuff like that. So I've said that we have given you a very good explanation on threats. I've went through those slides. I've given you 4 words, which is threat, vulnerability, and exploit. I explain what a threat is. You should understand what a threat is. Who has a threat? Why it has a threat? Normally, why is the system under threat? What is the general reason of system being under threat? Having vulnerabilities might be a risk. What is the threat? Why does it have a threat? Why does normally things have a threat? Do I have a threat? Do you have a threat? You might not know it unless you do an assessment. But why we do an assessment is not important. So a threat never occurs to anything which is not important. So that's key number 1, point number 1. It should be important. So when you are doing an assessment, when you are doing anything in terms of security, you focus and isolate the ones which is in high risk, the one which is in low risk, the one which is in medium risk. It's normally high and low, medium risk will have risk assessment, high or low, that's it. Impact level is normally you come up with high, medium, low, depending on the impact. So
is there any tool to measure that?
It depends on matrices. There are different types of matrices depending on the matrix. It depends on your environment. Now, for a person, a website might be important for a bank, but for another institution, the website might not be a huge issue. For an online site who has purchasing systems, the website might be important. For a website which just there to show the contact information and the addresses, it might not be a huge threat. But generally talking about websites come under a huge threat level because it exposed to the outer world and it's in the email files. So just because of the exposure, the website might be vulnerable, but because of the company's need, it depends. So that's why we are going to learn throughout. We'll be learning throughout. So no worries. Next one, I have talked about the social impact as well, which is the organization and what kind of organization it really matters. What is goodwill? How does corporate trust happen? Financial trust, individual impact, corporate impact, social engineering. Social engineering what social engineering is. So I've given you all the search information. Who's the law enforcement? Okay. So always remember, you can't come up with laws. ICTA will be handling the attacks body. ICTA is the attacks body of Sri Lankan ID. These guys. Again, a computer crime act, number 24, section 24 of 2007. That is the only law which is publicly and it has been recognized in Sri Lanka in terms of computer crimes. Okay. So when it comes to laws, you stick with the ITAPA laws and you stick with the search. Search Computer Emergency and Response Team. Assessor. Kilanguna penua tekka monada karanne me country monada karanne app search එක penua US search එක penua මම හොඳටම I remember it like nothing. I went through this course. Search එක penua I showed you all US search as well. United States Computer Emergency. So a second section in terms of social impact is on that level. Okay. Organization trust, goodwill, corporate trust, financial trust. You don't need to worry about corporate trust and financial trust by any means because it comes under different standards, PCI and DSS standards. It depends on a single framework, which is the government framework. Lanka is a framework, ICT framework. Okay. Which kind of framework? It's quite simple. It's like to maintain a trusted list. What the government does is policy. This is a policy which the ICTA has given as a compliance checklist to all the government organizations to check to see whether they have it or no in terms of compliance. Do you have an ICT unit? Number of delegated officers? CIO has been appointed. Is the ICT unit under the purview of the CIO? Okay, questions is a question framework clear. Framework clear. Net assist needs to have a framework to secure your entire. I can just come and say put this, put that, put here, you can't come up with such answers. So what you first do is you ask some questions and come out with some data. Then you analyze the data, depending on the data you go ahead with the framework. Okay. So in terms of the second section, which is the social impact, you stick with the search. I come up with a concern regarding social impact. Social care model. What do you call it in English? Social is Samaj impact. What happens inside the society. So who takes care of the society in terms of Sri Lanka? The SSR and the ICTA. So what are the laws in Sri Lanka? We have a Computer Crime Act which states at number 24 2007. And apart from that, the other additional laws, which is in terms of not laws, additional policies and protocols are also given by the government organizations, and there is no common body to give rules for public or private organizations. So we have to stick with the SSR in terms of laws or in terms of computer terms, which is the Sri Lankan Computer and Evidence Response Teams. At the moment, it's not properly handled. Even though we have a set, compared with the US set, this one is like it handles everything. In comparison with the FBI, so it's a wing of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which handles the US as well. When you go down here, it has a lot of resources. It has alerts and tips, it has a lot of publications as well. It's called publications. So what does it do in terms of social impact? It comes up with some publications. Securing your computer, general internet security, technical publications, and distributed material. According to social impact, this is what it covers: securing your computer. What do you call it in English? Samaj one computer security that's what it's asking. Now, like second area says to make sure you understand the social impact in terms of security. So to understand the social impact in terms of security, you are not going to come up with the different impacts. We are going to work with the impact which the organization such as the CERT has feel. Now the US CERT, the US CERT you see have a lot of stuff. It simply teaches you before you connect a new computer to the internet. Now I'll just click on that. Before you connect, then you will have to come up with the social impacts in terms of the organization. Manually you can take that. So the best part is to get it for the search. There are technical reviews, there are end user reviews. Social impact is organization security and organization impact. That's what social impact in terms of organization reviews us. That is good. Publications online part of the small knowledge base away. It's very Facebook security tips, Facebook safety tips, Facebook security guide, The one Facebook feature you must activate right now. Email, someone safety tips in emails, LinkedIn tips, how to identify genuine secret website, get answers, password tips, GNU tips, everything is here. Talk about. Make a last answer. Need a dark, good up, organized, making in a readable. Madala pop up, very slow. Shit. Network cable disconnected.
No, disconnect.
Disconnect. This tactic provides values of user connecting a new or newly upgraded computer to the internet for the first time. Is intended to home users. They normally come up with they normally come up with a very good set of tips in terms of social impact. This is what they are focusing on social impact, motivating factors, recommendation, general guidance, everything step by step. Operating system, specific guidance depending on the firewalls, enabling automatic software updates if available, installable with antivirus software. So they come up with different references depending on different channels. So that is what the social impact really is. Okay. Social impact we have to come up with a set of rules, a set of policies, or a set of laws which might help us or which might help my organization stay safe. So there is a different set of policies in terms now. Sometimes I might have a user who connects from home. There are standards which says that if the user should connect from home, the user's computer at home should have this and this. If the user's computer does not have this and this at home, he can't connect over VPN. Those are some advanced steps. So over here what they are focusing on in terms of social impact. In terms of social impact is to understand or to give an idea to the end user on how these things work. Because the end user might think that okay, the internet is a safer place to overall. The end user might think the internet, I can purchase anything, buy anything, everything is safe. The end user might think, okay, someone will send me an email and he might trust you. The email might say that you have 1 million rupees, all you have to do is deposit this amount into my bank and you will be. So, impact analyze social impact I might not use that question over here. Second question but I might use it into my JSON. Social impact impact in terms of public relations management, law enforcement, मतलब कोई और प्रोजेक्ट में अगर हम मैंने कहा सर्च देगा यूएस सर्च एसएल सर्च स्टिक विद इट एंड लीक दैट ICTFX for doing right but katakan if you want to know how the law works there you go there is this the co-host cybercrime workshop with Council of Europe. They come up with issues in terms of very good security practices. Then computer crime mechanism. It's a know about work math, but you don't really need to know the law. Frankly said. It's a bit confusing in terms of how data is being stored, how it retrieves. You can give it what kind of evidence can be produced in courts. So you say any person who eventually does any act in order to secure for himself or for any other person access to any computer, any information filled in any computer, okay, rules fail. So what we do is when we come up with organization rules, we normally use a little bit of this. But in your project, you don't need to build laws. Instead of going to the you need my experience, industrial experience in working out the framework. So now I say okay, make a demo, this will work out, or if you come up with this, someone else will give that. You know the impact on the organization. So you stick with these things. Okay. If you have a short note, take it down because you might forget it. I socially impacted and come on, so together, social impact, Google okay. Don't Google social impact if I give something else. Okay. Don't Google answers. In fact, social security act okay. Social security act so don't go here and there. Okay. Stick with what I've told you. And I want you guys to pass the project. I want you guys to finish it and make sure that you pass up. That's what the real mode is. We are discussing in a meeting, so it's not about you are doing research and coming out with PhDs over here. It's about you getting an idea on how these things work and finish the project. Change but never too much. At the network security level, when I go ahead and run that, I remove that module as well, which is the ITSA module. I put it to it out. I said this out of place. You start with compliance with this small guys. These guys are going to go upscale. It's because some of the few people who didn't have knowledge about it, just because they saw that the name was nice, they put it in. Those things are being removed. So this module we can't again delete because it's been amended in the new syllabus. So let's just work this out and get the project passed to the external verifier. Okay. So when I talk about social impact, you never go anywhere else. You stick with the search and with the ICTFX, the attached model. Okay. Sure. Let's come back to the syllabus, which I think that I didn't cover. These security policies. Over here, it's network security. So we will talk about the network security policies first. Network security policy is a framework within which an organization establishes needed levels of information security to achieve the desired confidentiality levels. Now, what is network security policy? It's a framework. You should know what a framework is. What is a framework normally? Framework क्या 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 है? English में framework क्या क्या है? Framework के लिए सिंगल में बोला जाता
system of
दो तरह लिखा है framework के बोला है sketch. Framework is a sketch. So network security policy is a sketch, not a pencil sketch. It is a design sketch. एक तरह का framework है. Sketch करना तो मेरे लिए खत्म है. Architecture करना तो architecture के लिए framework क्या करना? You build an architectural design, 3D or whatever design, that's a sketch. That's a framework. You build upon that. You don't go and इतना वित्तीय घाट लगाने so you work with a framework. So it says which an organization. Okay. So network security policy is a framework. It's a sketch, as you said, which an organization establishes. Establish करना क्या है? कहाँ करना है? Which an organization establishes needed level of information security. needed level of implementability. As sketch එක මත තමයි establish කරන්නේ මම කොච්චර දුරට මම security කෙනෙක් මොන කියන්නේ achieve the desired confidential level, to know the needed level of security and to achieve security level එක දැනගන්නයි confidentiality කියන එක achieve කරන්න. confidentiality සිංහලෙන් මොනවද කියන්නේ?
Rahasya.
Rahas. That's something to do with rahas. Confidentiality again?
Rahasya.
It's something to do with integrity. Confidentiality, integrity, those two words are one. It's to make sure that no one else has used it, tampered it, no one else knows about it. The communication flow is only between me and you, no one else. It ensures the confidential level. So it is a set of rules and principles that determines. It's a set of rules and principles that determines. Determines what it determines?
Decide.
Huh?
Decide.
It's certain that what is the scope of network, what is not. Scope of network. What is that?
Purpose.
Scope here no. For English words, Korean people again. Part scope here no. What is the scope? The scope of your business. Okay. So when you talk about network scope, what is this? There's some kind of network scope, which is how it is. Computer network scope क्या है? Design है. रास्ते का mesh का scope को मैं अदा हुआ है network scope का लूँगा. The scope of network, okay, the path of the design. It says some adjective applied to network related how closely connected communication. This might be thought of in terms of geographical closeness. Okay, so mostly sometimes the connectivity program format is different types depending on what it is. So what is the scope of network and what is not? What security should be available from the network? What security should be available? Acceptable means for using the network. Who uses it? Who does not use it? Who do I give access? Who I avoid access? Access and who wants to get access to another, camera access to another, those kind of things. Okay. The other one, who is responsible for the management and security of the network? We are prime objectives. These things are the prime principles, objectives, and one prime objectives to build a ID security or a network security policy. You should know what the network is, what is in, what is out. Okay. You should know what is the available network. Be available from the network. What security should be available from the network? What kind of security should be available inside the network? The third one, acceptable means of using it. Who should use it and why does he want to use it? Is it acceptable? Acceptable means क्या नहीं? यार usage के देने के मुनार तेरे को क्लियर ना देखिए ना, अगर policy की अगर कोई नहीं होगी. अनित्य का very important thing. Who is responsible? How is responsible? आगे building डालना तो पूरा मोबाइल फर्स्ट करके चीज़ मांगे building डालना नहीं करना qualified करना. So it says management and security of the network. These are the things which come under that scope of the network security policy. Network scope का क्या है? Okay. So it says to establish a secure network, a well-designed network policy has to be established. Come up with a very good network security, a very good policy has to be there. So policy is very important to have a very good secure infrastructure. That's what they are saying. The network policy characterizes the organization's idea of a computer usage. Appropriate computer usage appropriate computer usage of network and measures to deal with the network incidents. Okay, measures to deal with the network incidents. So the organizations rely heavily on the network security as it summarizes the assets which require maximum security, and the strategy is formulated based on the actions and inactions that threaten the assets. Threatens the assets. All they are formulated करनी. Threat का मतलब हमारी formulated करनी. निकाल कर तुम दाना कौन सी रात मिलता है. सारे तो हम वैसे कर दाना. ये आपको मालूम एक बार ये security का issue का मतलब. लड़ने का हम policy का दाना है. इन्हें काम हमको check कराने लगेगा. Fingerprint check कराना है. It's not possible. If he is a guy who is for data entry, level එක තියෙනවා. එයාට දෙන්න ඕනේ security level එකක් තියෙනවා. So threat level එක very important. කාට threat එක වැඩි යා තමයි he should be really mobilized with whatever policies has. So hence network security policy is considered as the base of the organization's security. The policy helps in determining the probable threat to the personal productivity and efficiency. It also determines the various corporate assets and suggests levels of security to protect the assets. Various assets were various levels of security. Various assets, various levels of security. So, a well-designed network security policy helps in establishing a proper network security framework, permitting the employees to access the established standards and security controls can augment the efficiency. So, the employees and the third-party user must be communicated about the network security policy to avoid the complications after breaching the policy unknowingly. The employee should know what these policies are. Policies beyond the matter, they know anything other than the policy. Jika hari breach हुआ रखा से, तो हम क्यों अतुल लेने के लिए तंब्रा यूज़ करने लगे हैं रेड डाल। एक दिन है तो विधि है policy मांगी, right? क्या had written the policy says, I written a body policy to bring over to the policy says unauthorized or authorized personnel are not they can't use thumb drives, pen drives, can also use I use some technical things. It is a flash drive also, which the end user might use this. So we might avoid it. Or I might split additional or whatever data points. So those kind of things should be avoided when coming up. So it is a set of rules and principles that determines what is scope, objective of the network and what is not. What are the levels of security and that should be available from the network? What are the various acceptable means for using the network? So what defines a good security policy? If it should be a good security policy, what are the things which should be defined? First thing is clear communication. Second thing, brief and clear information. Depending on the policy. Policy के information is brief, clear. देखना पहला है ना फिर देखना policy का क्या दिखा ये देखा दिखा नहीं policy good bad ये कराना है. You write a policy, it is like 3-4 pages only for one. Email policy का क्या फिर बाहर. Email policy का क्या फिर बाहर. तो क्या है? So it should be brief and clear. Third one, define scope and applicability. Make a apply it. Policy का क्या दाम है? हमें क्या policy का दाम है? Short possible. Management के लिए policy का तीन होने, IT user, end user के लिए policy का तीन. ये नहीं क्या ना policy का तीन. Hotspot user का तीन, हम मागी internal network policy को दाम है, ये नहीं third party user दाम है. So a third party user should have a different set of rules so that he follows that and makes it okay, fine. For the third party user, I might say that you can't visit Facebook and YouTube for the outside user. The inside user has access to visit Facebook and YouTube. I can't use the same policy outside there. Or sometimes I might give the outside user Facebook and YouTube, not the inside user. It really depends on what level of necessity it is. Okay. So enforceable by law. Very important. Enforceable by law के राजनीति बड़ा organization people अपनी प्रार्थना करते हैं. Because more audit these days with Brandix, one of the ERPs. Most of the policies, most of the laws which they have is not enforceable. Like you know, make a media what? We broke the policy. What will you do? This is a very important question. कहते हैं कि क्या दाया किसको इसको अरे कहते हैं पारा को दाना दाया बनेगा वो मगर रहता है उसका दान बनेगा लेकिन हम एक पॉसिबल लॉ है इसको ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने कहता है दान लगाए अरे आता है कहते हैं so we have come up with some enforceable laws. Most probably most of the organization to make it very ethical they want to do they say okay you breach it the first thing which should be 2 days of what do you call is what that means. Suspension with no pay. You again do it the second time, then you will be given a black mark. Third time you find a kid. You should come up with enforceable laws. Or else, if it's something which you can't handle, the guy stole something. Those kind of laws you can't say, okay, first time stole the command Diberikan uang kantor mau belakang kan तो misalnya कंपनी करके कुछ समय ऐसे वो आनंद ले लेना so वो आगे ये वाला पूरा जाता है पुलिस से कंडक्ट करेंगे so impossible laws को आगे लोगों ने डिफाइन किया you can't just come up and say okay everything goes to the police here ईमेल लगाते हैं और तीनों टारगेट है वो दूसरा पुलिस से जाना है पुलिस का है नहीं पुलिस से रीच करा ईमेल लगाते हैं यार वो दूसरा टारगेट था possible so impossible laws should be coming up as a open you will know it as existing among you. Problem is this is too much for you guys. I understand. For workplace, so you will forget it within days without knowing the work. But it's a good knowledge. You might know how these things work. That's why I'm teaching English. If they are in syllabus, make an I could have skipped it. I also want to do it much more simple and make sure that you guys just go through it easy. You should know what security policy is. Understand the impact on the social and commercial environment of network security design. You should only know it by implementing it. Take time make key one. When it comes to a project also, you don't need to apply laws. You should know. You should know who to contact, what to contact, what are the. Question like आगे ये थोड़ी at least मनी में slide देके भी नहीं बट इनको project में improve करना है. वो इसमें क्या खदान है? हम देखो ये वाला बच्चा. Whatever I focus, that is a must to use. You don't want to filter that. एक तो filter करना है ना. Organization case का नियम है तो मैं back करा. So you simply use whatever. Sorry guys. By focus on. Just give me a second. Recognize areas of responsibility. Recognize areas of responsibility simply says who is responsible and can be recognized. You give a person responsibility and he should be recognizable among the others as well. You can't say that the security policy is handled by the guy who goes to you. You can't say that the security policy is handled by the director. You can't say the security policy is handled by a technical guy who comes and wires me. It should be a recognizable area of responsibility. It recognizes areas of responsibility. The person should know what is his responsibility. याद रखिए कि ऐसा मैंने डॉक्टर काम में है और बता रहा है कि ये काम तमाम के his own responsibility. So you have to define it. को प्रश्न ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में नहीं करना. Second thing. लॉस बोलने पास के भी केस में नहीं थे. हमें काम है मैंने उदाहरण आता था और उदाहरण. No one pokes there, right? Or everybody pokes there. So for that we should say okay if it's emails this guy comes on. एक कैरेक्टर का नाम दे देना नाम का लीव दे रहा है. Australia और US से दे दे पार्टी वाली ये आपको नहीं पता. ये हमें कोई खा क्या कहते हैं कि we don't worry about this policy a lot in terms of giving it. But if you have 2 or 3 managers, infrastructure managers, system administrators, make sure to come up with responsibilities. I might give you a case study which has different types of people inside. It says that if the responsibilities are going to when you come up with case and system administrator, the guy who runs system administrator servers, the email servers, what kind of job. And sometimes I might come up with another guy which is infrastructure manager, which I might say that guy might be supervising to see whether this guy is doing his work perfectly. So you have to come up with set of rules over there. Okay? The last two one, the second one, the last one before the last sufficient guidance. You should tell what it is. Sufficient guidance. There is no policy का ताले में over the कराने के लिए भी रहता है ये adapt कर लेना. ये policy का ताले में और you should use SMTP ना मैं what you call SMTP ना. The user does not know how to use it. You have a security guideline. It says the user should change his password for his email every 14 days के ना. तो जाने लगा password मारो कराने को. Policy का दिन दांत था ना password मारो कराने को. मारो कराने के नुकसान ये दांत. किया ढूंढना तो है effect में नहीं. So हमें का तो किया दिन ढूंढना है. So हमारा policy तो नहीं ढूंढने के Don't send an email to a friend here and kill them on the way. So define policies, teach them. Top management involvement is very important because the policy is for everyone. And you are a top management के इन्होंने policy का विनोद करते थे ना overall बड़ा लंका ये का विनोद भी ये के policies ना और इम्प्लीमेंट कराई policy ये मतलब नहीं आई भी का तेरा policy They also have issues, they also have their own policies, but it does not happen in Finland. Also, the activities are going around bad, and it's going to bad people are So, I mean, cases, you know, we don't need to worry about those things. It's not for you all. Strictly the rules will just say, okay, yeah, top management involvement is important. Yes, top management involvement is important. These points are important to have a good security policy. So I might not ask you a question and say what are define the scope of a good security policy. I might come up with a case study, but the case study might have a question which says to come up with a security policy. Then you underline this and you say what these things are. So I'm going to come up with a policy according to this stance. Simon say what I can. They cut things like a what is security policy? You know, you might not be what is security policy, then what is a good security policy. Might have a case study on top. So you might the first task would be to come up with a security policy for the organization. Lecture. We don't start security policy here, come up with a scope first. Okay. So I explained it perfectly here. The type of network security policies. Over here, they focus on data policies, security policies which comes under general practice, internet usage policies, computer usage policies, email policies, system management policies, and incident response policies. Some of these policies are too old in terms of how it's been done. So what I did is I told you that we will be sticking with this kind of policies, the policies. There is no defined structure of what sort of policies you should be going through. So it's simply like security policies, and it simply comes under review and management, access system, establishment and review of personal, component, technical trust, getting to staff, forensic and risk of system. So it's a brief area of what it's been done. So what we'll do is, in terms of impact on productivity, getting this. You don't need everything. हम देखा coding in there. पर उतना वो implement करा नहीं है वो security policy का केवल इतना है कि साथ वो email security policy के email का email drop कर देना है और निकाल डाला का तो नहीं policy का क्या हुआ जरा stick with 2 or 3 policies. Let's stick with email security policy first. You can use fans, no worries, okay? Overall, email policy का खादन आवश्यक आ गया ना, okay? But एक policy का मानिएगा कि ये लोग टेस्ट कर देगा क्या लगे है? Show me one policy document. Policy document है हमारा वो हजार मिलियन में पेज किया. ये हमने policy document क्या था? Purpose, scope, policy, personal use, monitoring, enforcement, and that's it. That's it. Just come up with a small scope. Okay? Use fans. Explain only email policy with our push time, but you can simply use it. Fancy and low useful. Purani logo का काम है तो कोई लोग बता रहे हैं. You say that this is the policy which I used to circulate among our clients, and this is an example of our email policy. Step by step policies we सब किधर डाल रहे हैं लोगों ने original make it ready but option है because you don't need to implement policies, you should just know what are policies. So screenshot लेगा लो नहीं screenshot डालना है you can use real world policies over here sales policy use करना and if the company name कोई company name की डाल रहे हो नंबर है वहाँ document का draft करा paste करा so I know that okay that's the policy. So the external verifier knows okay you guys understand what a policy is and how a policy looks like. So frankly saying, the user is defined to only send emails for business purpose and not for his personal use. The content of every email sent should be examined. क्या policy का तीन है? Practical है. Every email will be examined as small organization is not practical. हम देना केस स्टडी मुद्रा में किए वाले हम देना केस स्टडी की ईमेल्स की ने का वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट है कितना अनिवार्य है इशू कम अप विद मेथड एंड सेव इट वी एग्जामिन द ईमेल्स इस टॉपिक ऑफ सी का की ने मोनी ईमेल्स एग्जामिन करते हैं आता है बात कौन सी का एग्जाम करना देना ना कि कम अप विद और एल्स अवॉइड The second one is data policy. Only without brief nothing now the science just to press one and say that you understand the impact of policy. What is data policy we have? Sensitive data are identified and measures are devised to safeguard them. What are the measures which you come up with in terms of data? Data policy का क्यों sensitive data are identified and measures are devised to safeguard them. What are the safeguard things which you can have? Well, brief, very brief. Make it, policy. Okay, give me some policies. Give me some measures which you use to safeguard data. What will be the measures which you use to safeguard data? Storing? Safeguard data. Data can have data referring to data packets. Data. Data can have data backups is important. Data encryption in forms of important data is important. Obviously, disk encryption is important. What else can we come up with in terms of data policy? Sensitive data. Unauthorized access should be totally avoided. Remote connections can be avoided. And you only give access to read, not write. And write access is only provided depending on the managers or officers have to early policies. The other one, security policies. Enumerates the technical requirement for security on system and networking devices. Technical requirements, firewalls, antivirus, VPNs, proxy servers, policies. One, intent usage policies. Intent usage must be defined only for official purpose and not for personal use. Policy they respond to understand what these policies are. Rules which makes you protected. These are policies. I mean, I go intent you give him an intent usage and you say this website, no issue at all. You might only use it for official purposes and you have given him to and you have told him only use this website. So you know that this websites are safe. Then they know the policy can put your back to again. And all the firewall that are looking at them. Nikah man that time Facebook use the first time only, second time suspension, third time fine. Yaman email to official user interact क्या बोला हम okay ये पर निकाल कर यहाँ पे email है क्या हुआ यहाँ पे आप email के address से किसी database से let's say contact के मामा टीम ना यहाँ पे email के hack होना or something will while they are waiting copy this contact give it to a spam cell and suddenly what happened I might start to receive spam because I didn't use it for official purpose or as I go to a forum there was a form I give my official email address then the forum starts to send emails to my official email address. Now I have to monitor the forum, I have to monitor the forum status, I have to know whether the forum is sending malware and everything. But if it only was for official purpose, I am safe. The level of threat is little, risk level is high. And the data policy is sensitive to identify and measure the device safeguard. Backups करते ना निकाल नॉर्मल प्रश्न पूरा I have it back. If the data is encrypted in case someone steals my hard drive, he can't read it. You see why these policies are needed. These are called best practices. Best practices, policy standards are needed so that you follow these policies, you have no issues. In terms of long term now. एक का तेरह वाला क्या की बात चल ये रिसीवर किए ना बड़ा दिया one additional research दिया दिया अब निकल गया उससे तो दिन लगी ना no need of giving all the science reference. Now given you see network, physical, server security, virus security, email, desktop, internet security, need a plan of security. What is it? Thirdly, they are known that you only should know what a security policy is. That's what your course outline says. Course outline says, understand the impact on the social and commercial environment of network security. So you should understand why it is here. Understand why. They can impact again. මේකේ මොනවද වෙන්නේ? යමක් වෙනවද නැද්ද කියන පාඩම තේරෙන්න ඕනේ. යමක් වෙනවා කියන එක තේරුණා නම් ඇති. අර ලෝකයක් කියෙදී යමක් වෙනවා කියන තේරුණා නම් ඇති. යමක් වෙන්න තියෙන එක තමයි different story. But it was there to help us know what these things are. So the other one is impact on productivity, system recovery, data recovery, loss of goodwill, loss of custom, loss of service, systematic reviews, legal proceedings, everything is being covered in this. It's about knowing what happens in case something goes wrong. It's about knowing what happens if your website gets hacked. It's about knowing what happens in terms of you go to a court or what are the legal proceedings in terms of computer acts. Sir, take a more than enough. Okay? Computer crime act is more than enough. You want to, I can explain the computer crime act also, but it's not necessary. It's not really necessary. And the other one, you should know how to estimate risk. Risk estimation is very important. Okay? So, penetration testing, audits, internal and external, procedures, establishment of baseline operation model, contingency plans, scrutiny and due diligence, vetting of contractors and commercial partners. First thing is a penetration test. Everybody knows what a penetration test is? We have broadly 3 types of penetration tests. The first one is known to be as the black box penetrate. Broadly, we have 3 types of penetration tests. One is black box, the second one is known to be as grey box, the third one is known to be as white box. Okay, 3 types of penetration testing methods. So, black box says it's an analysis which is carried out from the position of a potential attacker, okay, and can involve active exploitation of known security vulnerabilities. Any security issues that are found will be presented to the client together with an assessment of the impact and with proposal for mitigation or technical solutions. So the black box testing is done on what basis? From the position of a potential attacker, from an outsider basis. Over here, no information would be given to the testing team. I simply call the testing team and say, I am NetAssist, I want to do a black box test on my website. And I might only give them the web server's address, which is www.netassist.com.lk, which everybody knows about. It simply says, assessors assume no prior knowledge of the infrastructure to be tested. The tester will first determine the location and extent of the system before commencing the analysis. But it says, our assessors assume no prior knowledge. Assumption is not किसी को दिया learn करना है किंतु है पता नहीं सामान्य एक होने में assumption में अपने में हम फिर कथा कर लिया ना नेट करेक्ट करवाने जाना है एमडी एग्रीमेंट से असाइन करना पूरा असाइन करना क्या हम दिस फॉर decide those stuff and they give us some information and ये लोग हार नहीं ना अब बोला दे लो पता नहीं ना so we stick to the basic planning of risk assessment and then go ahead. So if they ask what a black box test is, it's quite simple. It's a test which is done on a position of an outsider, which is a hacker or a tracker. No prior knowledge or no previous knowledge about the target. Target है ना किसी को knowledge का खाना किया मैं मार लगा हूँ. So the testing team does not know anything about the target apart from what should be attacked. That's what a black box test brief is. So this is information gathering phase or assessment evaluation है. The other one is a grey box. Then we stick to the white box and then we go to the grey box. White box. Also known as clear box, glass box, transparent box, and structural testing as various names. is a method of testing softwares that tests internal structures or working of an application as a personal functionality. No, that's not exactly. Frankly saying, I mean, making it brief, it is to test the internal network. Over here, the attacker or the penetration tester will know everything about the network. I will tell him everything. I'll tell him these are the systems, this is the network which I have. I use DB2s and MySQLs. My servers runs on IBM AS400. My wireless runs on this particular amount of routers. My firewalls are this. My applications are this. My ERPs are this. My CRMs are this. My modules are this. My workflows are this. And my company. I tell him to do a pen test. Any idea why we conduct the white box test? I mean, up you know. I tell you everything. You say full knowledge white box testing can be applied at the unit integration system level of the software testing process. It's usually done at the unit level. You can test parts within a unit, parts with units within integration, and between subsystems during a system level test. Though this method of test design can uncover many errors or problems, it might not detect unimplemented parts of the specification. It's not exactly the security risk. That's a bit okay. Books there are books like in contact ready over the phone, so that's why I use the internet so that you understand what it is. Yeah, there are no idea. If there are both parties exchange all information about the target and all testing times and methods are revealed to the client, a white box test, although ensuring that all results are tested, is also not always a valid measurement of risk, as certain information would not normally be available to a potential attacker. So why do we conduct this kind of test? Is to make sure that the insider does not conduct any access. So I have to make sure that the insider does not have access to my system or gain elevated access. So Mama technical team the access setup, you can only write this things here. He suddenly finds out a loophole and he is capable of editing what is being written as well. So now the announce it issue up here. Mostly ERP is white box testing. ERP, SAP is white box testing. Application is testing. Okay, the organization uses a student management portal. Okay, student management portal को white box test कराने के. अब ये ना student management portal के accounts department has this role, he will enter this money. और if he said जोड़ा ना तो कि ले आना check कराना होगा. Student के लिए internal student के लिए जानना है. वो मेरे कराने के. तो मैं internal check करना. अब ये student का फीस से क्या होने पास. और ना नहीं ना. हम system में नहीं इंटरनल फीस कराना. आई check कराना system में. So what happens is, soon as I have known a vulnerability in the system, I might simply go and edit the sum or the figure in the system, and it might be a potential threat to the entire operation. So we make sure that the insider complies does not happen. We conduct white box testing in targeted applications depending on the level of risk. Targeted applications. The last one is a grey box pen test. It says our preferred method of testing, not only our, most of the clients only prefers grey box. Black box too advanced, white box too specific, grey box is the overall testing procedure. Over here is a combination of the above black and white box testing. So relatively little information is exchanged about the target, but we keep the client in the loop and exchange information if necessary. The client is there. The client says, okay, this is my website, this is what I am using, but I want to work small or the naming. And this is so often allowing us to understand the associated risks between various network endpoints and services. Firewall check I designed this website from WebGenius. They are implementing it. I want to do it. WebGenius might not tell what are the source code and all kind of stuff, but I might tell him, okay, this is what I required from him. This is what he gave me. You just want to check it whether it's safe or not safe. This is what a gray box testing is. Partial knowledge about the target, and it's most often done as audits and conducted using automated assessment tools. Manual methods avoid the gray box testing.
Because the black box is it similar to like once a plane crash?
No, it's not nothing to do with that kind of black box. It's a data recording black box. What? It depends. It has a whole team of doing it. Actually, the assessment is done by the first group of people we sending is an analyst. The first guy is the sales guy. He goes and gets the order. It is the sales team. The marketing team gets the contract. The sales team goes and does the visit. After visit is done, we analyze it. To analyze it, we send business analyst. IT security इसमें काम आ जाता है. याद रखना analyze करना. What is in, what is out, what are data in, what are data going out. हमें करना है analyze का reports काम. ये report तक रन हुआ, तो हम assessment तक करेंगे. ये है vulnerability assessment. एक vulnerability assessment तक रन हुआ तो भाई हम penetration testing करेंगे. Penetration testing करना तो सारे जगह क्या है? Assessment तक करना तो साथी हायर नहीं करेंगे. check करना बड़ा नहीं तो वैलिड नहीं है. So penetration testing is a practical assurance of the loophole which is being provided by the assessment tools. All of this. What is the penetration test? It's a practical assurance. That's it. It's a practical assurance which says that this particular exploit is possible or not possible. Because my analyst might say, okay, so there are some JavaScripts which is being transmitted to the search form. Here, analyst will now report here. My must say, okay, I do assessment on the scripts on that particular area, and my assessment says that there is a vulnerability. I want to practically assure that there is a vulnerability. So what I do is I conduct a pen test to check whether there is a exploit true or not, or is it a false positive which is given by my assessment team. See at a ASUA penetration test का करना है और assessment report का मतलब से violate. They get this assessment report, they fix it because the assessment report told, and then again they run the assessment report to check whether it's really working or not. Because end of the day, you do an assessment, you practically try it, and again you go and fix it, and again it's another 2 steps more. मैं कह रही थी भाई, assessment टाइप करा, assessment टाइप किया, तीनों किया, हर तीनों ना मोना लग रहा होने के लिए assessment टाइप किया, it says go and touch this or put this update किया, update के बाद वो आए assessment टाइप किया. I my analysis run more than I have done the analysis. Assessment is right around the so it's called as we analyze the environment first before the update. We analyze the environment after the update. Let's say I have a firewall in my network. I first analyze the firewall with the current firewall. I analyze the firewall with whatever current firewall it is, and afterwards what I do is, as soon as a new one comes in, I again analyze it with the new one as well. I match both the records and check, okay, look at that working, yamak milati in order, not the for a penetration test, key making black box and white box are called reviews. Black box, they manually split and check and say yes.
ज़्यादा कम्युनिकेशन
First thing what we do is a pen test. Depending on the assessment report, what we do is we go through it and we exploit it. We exploit it and then we say it's been exploited. So this they don't really ask. हमारा कंपनी पे क्यों हर बात क्यों ना मैंने करना पेपर क्यों ना एक करना पेपर होना कि हमारा क्या है करना पेपर लगेगा स्क्रीनशॉट करता है हम दिन बुला करने के लिए करना पेपर आता है तब हम स्क्रीनशॉट करता रहेंगे तो we send it to the client saying this is what is possible. So please if it's an internal audit करना पेपर में क्या आता है any add करना करा दी ये एक करना पेपर नहीं हाँ करना पेपर नहीं करती वो
وانا بعيش تبقى عليا فرحانة ودقة قلبي ولا
the agreement says fine, not before the agreement. So I remember this question again.
They are in company. Sri Lanka people.
Yeah, mostly what they do is they build an in-house team. Very few people hire outsource these things. They prefer to build an in-house team and conduct it inside. We only do audits. That's the thing. They don't carry out penetration tests. We have a team of auditors in PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, Ernst & Young, BDOs, key companies. What they do is they come up with some audit policies. Something like benchmarks. They call it CATs. Computer aided assessment tools here. So that's a benchmark for server 2003. Summary checklist. These things are computer programmed. They program it using a computer. These are the data which we include into these assessment tools. And we check for these things. We check for all these things and we come up with you see, normally major service, we say the server 2300 maintenance security checklist. It should be service back to all critical and important objects should be there. Okay. If it's legacy and enterprise, the password then should be 8 characters. If it's specialized, it should be 12. Okay. So audit account lock events should be a success and failure. Both should be audited. You know what is the second policy? Audits. Saman. Go to your control panel. These things called event peak. ये Windows log, security logs वाले वैल्यू ना हमें एक आपको audit payment है. It has some limitations. Which is by default not be audited. So the benchmark says these things should be audited here. मैं pull up security policy की audit का success or failure. क्या है और password देगा नहीं क्या हुआ था ये हर जगह होता है ये record करेगा नहीं. So auditors बोला था ना कि मेरा ना policy का मेरा this is a benchmark, this is a policy. मेरा harm देना चाहिए लेना check करेगा. Auditors have tools to check whether it's correct or not, depending on the policy. So this is a benchmark. उड़ा काटे या penetration test कराना है, website में डिजाइन कराना. ना वहाँ कराना है, network का check कराना होगा, website network का उड़ा काटे कराना है. ये आदमी जो ना audits का मालिक call audits, penetration test किया क्या है? We call it internal audits or external audits. Simply saying it's IS audits, information security audits. एक हमारे मैनेजमेंट लड़ दिए रहे प्रश्न दिए में नहीं यार टेक्निकल लेकर के यार तेरे बालन बोली टेक्निकल लेकर के यार तो टेक्निकल लेके तू बता लो पीछा करना है यू कैन सिंपली से योर रॉन्ग हियर सो द गाइस माइट नॉट डू एन आस्क फॉर इट हम दैट कर ले करेगा हम ताई के लेके आगे लगे हम तो लेगा नहीं लेके हमारा निकाली ने हम दोनों ने आपको मारी किया सो आई माइट नॉट गो एंड आस्क फॉर अनदर पर्सन दैट इज करेक्ट और नॉट. So what the management knows, management knows these buggers might be paying something out. The management wants to check on them. So the management does not understand technical people. He can't call up and say, penetration test karo to management buyer. Hey, ultimator. मैं और इसका सकरान में तो तब एक ने कोई नहीं करा था, हैकर ने किया, कंपनी ने कर सब हैकर ने पकड़ा था. और ये करना है मतलब. The management guy does not know whether he is trustable or not here. मतलब एक एक लोगों का प्रश्न. We have guys who are technically qualified better than one of our best guys. Problem is he can't देख के तो क्या है चला hacking के सिस्टम में शुरू किया. इसने class tech होगा. ये class tech audit for कर दिए. है? Company audit करना, account audit करना. So क्या बना दिया? Come up with a package. I will do your IS audits, I will do your financial audits, both as one. This is the package. The top management is fine. What I added है ना. और अभी आपको हमारी चीज़ों का नाम देगा. Check करना क्या? Top management says, what I did, you know, my guy comes and says, my security guy comes and says, he's doing all these things here. So, I think that 120 pages of it does, it has access for every damn registry and make a manual standard. This is the manual standard of how things are being done. Manually make a grant again, master the convert right because of it. Make another grant use cats. It's not needed for you, but since you asked me, I'm saying. Computer aided audit tools. Using cats, it's very easy for us to identify the areas of vulnerability within us. Now, what I was downloading was also a cat. Access to the network cat. So cats. Next finish install and all. The problem is you should know what to give to the cats. You can't simply give everything to the tool and expect everything outside. Again, raw data, data science company. So the business analyst knows what kind of data should be included. The auditor knows what kind of data should be processed. Lecture level, you don't need to worry about that in this syllabus of yours. You can have everything and top to bottom, a total serve of being hard. The main controllers, account, security policies, UI, code, every damn thing step by step. We call it benchmarks. Come to the benchmarks area.
Find the keyloggers.
Not the exact way except for the antivirus, frankly. There are some tools which looks for keystrokes, because the keystrokes are being logged using a sync and act command, put the command they are bypassed and all. If I go down, you check on tools, but the antivirus does a very good job. You don't need to worry about keystroke problems except for ones which are polymorphic, which you might not find.
He doesn't install, he didn't install anything, but someone has installed. When he was installing, he got the antivirus and he installed. He was using security instrument. He put to allow the person. So
Then fine. Doesn't mean that's one of the dumbest things I have seen. If you have access to one of the computers and gives an exception, changes everything and go
is it possible to install the internet?
not possible. He can reprogram one and send one so that the reprogram one infects it, but still he has to switch off his antivirus. If we convince him to switch off the antivirus, then yes, possible. Once the antivirus is switched off, that's it. And afterwards, we turn it back for use. You have to switch off the infect on the board. It must be partially. Then I switch off the infect on the Okay, so three types of testing: black box, white box, and grey box systems. Audits. We have internal and external audits. So what are these audits? How are these audits being done? Most of these audits are orchestrated through internal audits, and whenever they want to comply with the standard, they proceed with the audits. Now, I can't just audit anything and come up and say, okay, it's been audited. Internal audits, you can have different types of measures and say that, okay, this is the audit reports and it complies with it. So we'll stick with the general audit procedure, which in terms of computer security works on perfectly well. So ISO 27000. We call it ISO 27001 security. Okay. Is an ISMS standard published in October 2005 by International Organization of Standards, blah blah blah. Formally specifies a management system that is intended to bring information security under explicit management control. Being a formal specification means that it mandates specific requirements. Organizations that claim to have adapted to ISO can therefore be formally audited and certified compliant with standards, which is no big. So whoever uses ISO 27001 can be audited, it says. You can check whether they are really working out with what ISO 27001 says. Audit එකක් කියන්නේ මම ඔයාලට කියපු දේ ඔයා කරනවද නැද්ද කියලා චෙක් කරලා බලන්න. Final financial audit එකේ මොනවද වෙන්නේ? සාමාන්‍යයෙන් financial audit එකේ company has told you should collect a bill for all petty cashes which is issued. Audit එකෙන් එනවා. අනිත් ගන්නවා. voucher එකේ තියෙනවා petty cash එකක් කියලා දෙනවා bill නැහැ. එච්චරම තමයි. An auditor is a person who can directly act as a board of directors. Auditor කියන senior accountant කෙනෙක් කරලා උඩින් ඉන්නේ auditor. උඩින් කියන්නේ පඩියෙන් උඩින් level of control එකේ උඩින් නෙමෙයි. Control obviously as CFO, Chief Financial Officer has the more part of control. But the auditor can go and question the CFO as well. Why was this approved here? Okay. So these are the things which we audit. You can't just go and audit a company. Karna kane ki audit karana pula. Mora bahut kiya nahi. Kya to audit karna nahi hai lekin bahut karne wala. It's not possible. Can we audit how? If the health department says cabinet එක මේව දිනෝනේ තේල් දවස් දෙකකට සැරයක් මාරු කරන්න ඕනේ. Those are the policies which the health department says. And who goes and audit it? Health department goes and audits the Karnataka to check whether it sticks with the health department's regulations. Audit කියන එක ඕනෙම department එකේ තියෙනවා. පොද්දස්තර කෙනෙක් ටිකට් එක දුන්නද නැද්ද කියලා අහලා audit කරන්නේ. check කරලා audit කරනවා. check කරන එක audit කරනවා. check out කරනවද? ටිකට් දීලා දිනවද නැද්ද කියලා. If the checker has to audit the standards of who is standing, who is sitting, how are the seats, gear වැටෙනවද, brake වැටෙනවද කියලා check කරන්න ඕන නම් those are audit systems. ඒ කියන්නේ මට audit එකක් කරන්න බෑ කියන්නද. So I have to stick with the rule. ISO 27001, 27002 is a globally recognized security policy which can be audited by most of the auditing firms. This is an audit platform. Some people stick with internal framework. Okay, so it's like everybody does not end up ISO 27001, 27002, but they can rules thing they know audited. How do they make? IT in nothing. They does not give it. Governance for the it is going to be as IS governance. We call it governance. GOVERNMCE governance body or IT security governance team. That is the top body of the entire security bridge. The governance body comes up with a set of policies which can be audited annually. And the governance body, what they do is they have an internal audit team which first audits it, and then they bring up an external audit team to audit it again to recheck whether it's done effectively. Like internal audit करने की तरह external audit करना नहीं है, directly external audit करना है. It's like this, man. Someone tells me that I should check all my bills of policy, but suddenly the external guy can't come and check for it first. हमारी का से जानते हैं हमारा audit का fail करना, audit का fail करना I can't survive. The auditor says okay, आता है check करना certificate का करते हैं ना, audit survive. Audit report එක නැත්නම් ඔයාලට bank account එකක් ගන්න බෑ. bank current account එකක් වෙන්නේ company act and rules එක. Without a proper audit, you can't go public. Private limited. Audit should be available. Audit should be tested internally and certified externally as well. So these are some of the audits. We have two types of audits. One is the internal audit and the other one is the external audit. Internal audit is done by a team which is in-house, which checks for the compliances, which checks for the policies and which checks for the framework to make sure that it's being followed accordingly. Compliance check compliance can my framework or my governance says I have given licensing for all my computers. IT manager license part कितना डाले? Practical डाला computer part. मैं audit करे मैं इतना बहुत आ गया मैं धीरे-धीरे और license यहाँ पे धीरे-धीरे दिखा है. So through the audit, is this compliant? Yes, compliant or compliant. If it's not compliant, you say okay, this was a system it is not compliant. किला दाना audit report का करना manager को दी license मधु मार कुछ करेगा. And they will not audit करना. So the audit, when you stick with the standard, you are secured as well. The standard maintain करना तो लगता है कि मैं करना है, but audit का खूब अलग. So end of the day, I am secured. Why? Because I maintain a proper standard and rules. End of the day, मैं बातें नहीं आना है. Hey, health ministry की ना तो बढ़ेगा ना, बढ़ेगा तो नहीं. End of the day, if something goes wrong for the fee I pay, I am secured. Why? If It's been audited annually, and every report, every bill you pay is public. So you can take it to courts and say, I have paid for it. Give me proof of concept.
Will they have an audit every 6 months or
6 months? 6 months before. Major companies like Brandix, savings of companies, blue chip companies have it 6 months. There are companies which does it annually as well as year. Annually can take 6 months or a year. Quarterly year term quarterly year those states annually can have better 6 annually 6 to 6 annually. Audit for annually 6 to 6. Quarter annually make quarterly annually quarterly speed and then annually for just 6 to 6 annually. So that's ISO 27001 security policies, organization of information security, asset management, human resource, physical and defined actually it controls the controls. So it's not necessary to have everything. So what the auditor will take a team implement team actually implement. The team comes from outside, mostly from India and another country called Finland very good audit team. Those who are the cheapest ones and those who understands Sri Lankan policies perfectly. So they come, they stay here for like let's say 1, 2, 3 months, implement the policy, audit it and say okay, you are certified and goes. You don't say Masa has to like vaccination में जा रहे हैं तो आपके पास ऐसा check करना नहीं है करना है. Same thing. That's what audits are. You should know what audits are. What is an audit? An audit is a procedure to check whether the policies and standards are maintained according to what is being defined. Check. Defined के अंदर ये है आवेदन अंदर के अंदर check करना है. Audits meaning 2 types of audits, internal and external. Internal ones are done through an internal group of people to make sure that the audits are properly performed, and to recheck it, they come up with an external. Internal verify, external verify audit. Okay, can you submit? There are like ini kita project itu mana mana kan, tapi apa yang ada apa? Mau check kerja, pemasangan dana pasti, check kerja tadi nol ini kita mana ki, then over itu mana brief check. So that's done. Procedures, establishment of baseline operating model, contingency plans, duty and due diligences, vetting of contractors and commercial partners, everything comes under that policies. Okay. Auditor, internal, external. What are the procedures of auditing? Establishment of baseline operating model. Baseline operating model क्या कहते हैं? वहाँ धारा नहीं होगा, modeling model baseline का what and how are you doing it? Contingency plan. In case something goes wrong, in case I fail, what is my contingency? Auditor का fail होना, उन्होंने grant this kind of contingency plan. Surety and due diligences, vetting of contractors and commercial partners. It's not really necessary of vetting details, third-party resources. You know, I have an FP servers and I have people coming in and going out with data from my servers. They have access to the servers, it has group access, or my web server is hosted in the United States. So it is a vetting of contractors and commercial partners. These things automatically created. You don't need to worry about that. You should know what a pen test is. You should know what an internal audit is. You should know what an external audit is. You should know what is audited. What is audited? What is audited? Policies are being audited. Policies, standards, guidelines, compliance, controls are being audited. Etc. Then policy का चीज़ लगी होती है। policy लगी है, policy का और बनाने के लिए नहीं है। Policy का maintain करना करने के लिए बनाना, audit करना। What I want you guys to do is go through some of these guidelines. Okay? Go through some of these stance policies. Just check what it says. मैं computer security policy का ही internet security policy का निकाल check कर वाला मैं बना तो मैं मुख्य नहीं करता हूँ. Just to see what it is, okay? And you come up with a policy which device guidelines, employing tech usage, communication equipment, security posters, हमें तक बढ़िया. Poster का हिना नहीं हो, नहीं? Can you go with the assignment and? Sure, we can. I will finish it. That's it. They have shrunken your classes, don't know why it's only for 2 hours here and after. You got that email? It's said you have it up for 2 hours and only later. I think we'll get up out. No? I can't show you.
Oh, painting.
I can't show you. Week ends the time on the week ends on the sorry guys, it's only weekend. Weekend after weekend.
So audit කරන වෙනම ප්‍රොෆයිල් තියෙනවා සර් ලංකාවේ.
Audit firms ගොඩක් තියෙන්නේ PwC, KPMG, Ernst & Young, BDO. This is an audit firm.
Ah. Video. Video.
Video is relying on එකට කෝල් එකක් දීලා කිව්වොත් I want audit කියලා අනිවාර්යෙන් private company audit level එකට company එකක් අනිවාර්යෙන් accounts audit කරනවා. So උදා දන්නවා කොහොමද contact එක ගන්න කියලා. account audit කරනවා දින වාසිය these audit firms. Audit firms are the most running companies. You ask me, these guys have everything. They sell outsource deal industry. If I want to know about that particular guy's information, audit firm will come in. Competitive intelligence will these guys can sell competitive intelligence. This is the procurement method of investment. Hey, you put your audit firm? This is your case. USA wedding and issues වගේ තමයි. අපිට කියනවා දිනියෝ කියලා something similar to that. I'm not saying that we are right, they are wrong. I'm just giving you a small example. I'm saying something like that. We know that KPMG, all these audit firms like videos have enough of things in terms of information here. If they want to sell, they sell it. If they want to sell, they can sell competitive intelligence here. And they come to the way
අනික ඇක්සස් කරන්න අපි ඇග්‍රීමන්ට් එක ලියලා දෙනවනේ නේද?
non disclosure agreement එකක් දෙනවා. MBA එකක් disclosure එක කියන්නේ මෙයා disclose කරන්න නැහැ කියලා. දෙන්නේ ගානනේ දෙන්න දුන්නා කිව්ව. කොහොමද ගන්න දුන්නා නේද? එංගාරේ දෙවිය කතා මෙතන අහගන්න කියන එකම විශ්වාස කරන්න හෙට දෙන්න මට කියනවා. මම කෝල් කරාම ෆෝන් එක ආන්සර්. නිකන් හෙට දෙන්න අනිත් දෙන්නා කියලා ගන්නවා. උල්ට මුණ බලලා කියන්නේ. ශ්‍රීමන්ත යාන මොනවද කරන්නේ? So videos are auditing firms. They have their own audits. They would have clip-based IS audit filing. Those services, audit assurance, meeting ID advisory meeting, auditing mechanism, ID advisory क्या होता है? Once you are not in the field, might not know what these things are. Since we handle these things, we know. So why when we know that lecture I think they lecture of their plan, lecture I would run the issue run the saya kela ada we know. But as a bread and butter, you can't go and simply say that go video editing, you know, openly put you see. These things can't be specifically located and targeted. I know all this. You don't need to worry about it in any means.
Is it possible to crack the WPA encryption?
But according to now, I'm not really sure. It's not possible to crack through the hash or crack through the cipher or the hash cipher. But there's a level of WPS can be cracked in Citrix, which is wireless WPS, Wi-Fi protected system, WPS. WPS enables the cracker on the pull of the game. Apart from that, there is okay, so the first set is covered, guys. Okay, the first set is covered. Hopefully, you should know what these things are. First, just to understanding area covered. And the second one is to design, be able to do it. You should be able to do it. To be able to do it, that design is a question or the first step. Like VLAN trunking segregation of segments wireless client access, no problem. Okay, you have no issues in that. Fortunately or unfortunately, opportunity, I will have to come up with an implementation system which you should be able to design. I might not use that LAN design. Okay, I'm not going to teach you. I'm not going to use the LAN design as well because we have another chapter which is LAN. They can use the okay. So not server deployment. Not server deployment, which is security needs according to server specification, print access, file management, data management, and email. I might deal with intrusion detection and user access memberships, but एक आध वाला कोई का शुरू नहीं because picture I think होगा border systems is server deployment is in. I might focus on server deployment and border systems both together. I might teach all benchmarks, server hardening writing AI, intrusion detection systems, firewalls, filters and rules, email monitoring, application and packet monitoring, signature management, trust network behavior norms, access control, traffic filters and route redirection. Okay. So next week we will be looking into security needs according to server specification, which is the benchmarks. Rather security needs. And my append is a result elongate. So I have done now so 2008. At time Windows 7 order. What do you think? So we can put Windows Windows 7 का पूरा hardening right Windows 7 will work with tripwire and the security compliance manager of Windows. Compliance manager and the end user world. Microsoft security compliance manager. I'll try to work this out with Windows, which is not really sure what the operating systems are run with its servers. सर्वर यूज करते हैं SCM में विंडोज यूज कर रहा है तो अगर ग्रुप पॉलिसी यूज करना चाहिए मतलब tripwire यूज करो lazy okay I'll use that or I'll use this tracker up there we have to stick with the basic hardening schemes okay we'll use tripwire tracker up tiba nama namanya na yang so one version which sticks with 20 controls attack with tiba namanya salah with controls we'll stick with tripwire has enterprise keep all the management file integrity management is there management there we'll stick with tripwire or the SCM लेकिन एक हम यूज करना सर्वर हार्डनिंग है लेकिन एक हम यूज करना भी सर्वर डिप्लॉयमेंट के सर्वर का डिप्लॉय करना इस तरह बनाने के लिए सिक्योरिटी टर्म्स एंटीवायरस फायरवॉल में डाउन कर देगा पॉलिसीज संबंधित मिलेगा we stick with SCM or we stick with tripwire okay border systems, intrusion detection systems, firewalls, filters and rules. We'll configure a firewall. Okay, for this. We'll configure a firewall with your UTM. UTM में configure है उसको मैंने और basic that is. Making के कराना है. Unified threat management. You have to purchase these things. It's not free. Those are paid versions. UTMs are paid ones. So untangle login or configure the put a lazy way. You'll configure IDS. We'll configure firewall build rules, we'll come up with email monitoring, we'll come up with application and packet monitoring, signature management is antiviruses. So we'll come up with the signature management, trust network behavior norms. We'll check it. So for this, we will be able to serve a deployment and model system. Where the practical case. We stick with server and all the systems. LAN and WAN, what you are going to draw diagram, so that is our implement design network security solution. We will be designing a LAN and WAN, which is a visual diagram.
Sir, 3.2 ಗೆ hash केला आमता गंडे की 3.2 ने 2.2 2 के ने 3.2 है
Down to 3.2 later almost. Practical thing hopefully we start doing next week. Practical thing next week. STPs, LAN design, use access, group membership, group allocation is not very necessary as far as I am concerned. Physical security, what is physical security? You don't go home now, okay? Go through these standards. Okay? I didn't take a break for this, so you should know what SSL is. Take a look at all these things. Social impact. Okay? SSL your certificate, impact factor. Computer security policy internet policy contact. You should know what it is. The other one is the penetration testing methods, no worries in terms of so SSL ICT cyber impact computer crime act for those things. Okay? And afterwards the policies, science policies and you are right. And network security policies stick with only network security policies. Okay? So ini policies stick with posters reference okay, remote access policies, routing security policies. Overall policy check policy. And you should know ISO 27001 as well. Briefly, implement you should know what it is. That's what it is. Okay? And afterwards, we learn about pen testing. And afterwards, internal audits and external audits. What is audits? Why is audit being done? How can an audit team perform an audit depending on what benchmarks you have top to bottom. Then one key website Yeah. Next is microwave used to transmit data across large, which is widely networks. It uses the Wi-Fi standards. It is wireless data communication for large long network halls. It uses microwaves. Need to transmit and receiver. Depending on how far it transmits, the receiver can receive signals, and then it can be modulated and demodulated using an order which one external has. That's it. Technical specification security end of the day, signal modulate telephone model wireless model transmitter receiver wireless transmitter receiver wireless.
So again, connect to my branch distribution.
If you do not have a transmitter and receiver, you have to burn it. Quite expensive. Transmitter might transmitters. So receivers only here.
Some insurance companies are using that. Some insurance companies.
They might have a VPN. It's or something, not Anna. This is a version 500. How many what a WiMAX connected airport maybe तो आगे ट्रांसमिट का आगे रिसीवर का ज्यादा नहीं रहना हो हम वहां से कर दिया ना लाके देखो तो क्या होगा तो ये bandwidth allocation है ना money availability नहीं करता VPN, you know what a VPN is, what you call it. Normally it's done through routing, which has no interference. You go through a network, but you don't know how the wire goes, but you go there. Same thing happens if it's insurance companies wanting to connect two buildings using WiMAX, they might either purchase two receivers, which is not possible according to freelance, so you can't simply go and start to broadcast using your own device. Nobody could catch you even though you do it unless someone traces or unless someone tells it, or else you can get a VPN from one of these points but WiMAX 40 band is ready. लोग 25 MB बैटिंग हो 40 की है 25 की है 30 MB होना ना 100 MB बाहर नहीं है 30 MB होगा बाहर से इसमें
So that's why people go to lease line.
these lines is because what bandwidth usage है ट्रांसमिट करा तो मतलब वन ट्रांसमिट VPN में के वायर VPN में तो भाई गाना है और WiMAX VPN की नंबर कर रहे हैं 50 को मैक्सिमम 150 G यूज कर रहे हैं which is local WiMAX वाला एक सी वाला ट्रांसमिट कर रहे हैं Okay, maximum bandwidth for WiMAX.
एक ढाबा लगाने का भी है ये बहुत ही डाउन है
ini station equipment mereka beli orang untuk harga 2 lakh dah kali mana ni okey kalau kiyak pun lagi lah tu
mọi người được hỏi ở đây nó vậy mà kia nó kiểu năng sập
WiMAX cannot deliver 70 megabytes over 50 kilometers. That's the wireless segment. WiMAX can operate at high bit rates over long distance, but not both operating at maximum range of 50 kilometers, which is 31 miles. Increased bit rate and thus results in much lower bit rate. Conversely, reducing the range on the 1 kilometer allows the device to operate at high bit rates. On the 1 kilometer, yes, or else no.
So my recommend is I want to rush with the data with 100 Mbps, but my offices are located in 2 miles away.
VPN.
VPN.
8 VPN, not about. Yang requirement. Okay, ये लिंक बिल्डिंग करेंगे वो कोमार से अपने हाथ में रखना है वो देना है कि हमने हो जाएगी 300 Mbps किसी को kbps इंटरनेट 300 मेगाबिट्स पर सेकंड 100 नहीं हो रहा 300 नहीं okay you use fiber optics it will be in day or giving away
Supporting of
Arwahiyah Arwahiyah kan atau dosa kita tadi di sebara lima mil.
but we can ask with SLD too.
Yeah, you can SLD is okay. Lantacom is cheaper. Not that SLD. Because SLD is outsourced by SLD services here. Sri Lanka Telecom ने SLT services. Google करा SLT services में हम आती है ना वी के अंदर SLT की contact में देने SLT services बोल रहा हूँ. SLT services then outsource it depending on area. Sometimes SLT might have it, if SLT doesn't have it, they contact Lanka. Lanka has the largest VPN network in Sri Lanka.
सर टेलीकॉम और लगते हैं बेला तो साइड निकल लगे टेलीकॉम नहीं बेला तो साइड क्या कहते हैं टेलीकॉम
Rotel? No idea. Next CIC construction बोलने के बाद ICC ने. अरे टेलीकॉम ने आलू पता नहीं. ट्रैफिक ने अंदर व्यापार होने वाला. कितना की वैसे?
मारते कहीं टूटी पाना गया वो पे देगा किया मैं तो दही बोले थे अंदर अपना उसका पे देगा किया हाँ